Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. General Hospital has Carly Spencer is in another toxic relationship right now. This time, it's with the local WSB boss. It's another guy she doesn't belong with and who needs to go. But is Jack Brennan the worst guy she's had in her life? Hardly. We're going to dive into Carly's 5 worst relationships of all time. Some are so bad they make Jack look like a romantic lead from a Hallmark movie, not the lying, tricky creep that he is. I'm going to rank these relationships of Carly's from 5 to 1, counting down to the absolute worst guy she's been with. And just to be clear, I do not have Jack on the list because she's still with him right now when I'm making this, and we don't know how his and Carly's story will end. Maybe he'll turn out to be a better guy. We'll see. Number 5 on the list is a character that I really like, and I love the actor that played him. I wish General Hospital would bring him back, and that is Lorenzo Alcazar. If you remember back in 2003, Carly was kidnapped by Alcazar. He was obsessed with Carly and an enemy of Sonny Corinthos at the time. So, Alcazar snatched Carly and held her on his yacht. Despite the kidnapping, Alcazar captured Carly's attention too. I mean, she didn't hold Brennan planning to kidnap her against him either. So, it's kind of a weird thing to overlook more than once, right? After Sonny accidentally shot her in the head, as one does on a soap opera, Carly got these really obsessively strong feelings for Alcazar. She was having passionate dreams about him, and Carly ended up checking herself into Shady Brook, trying to shake off these feelings, but they later wound up married, and Alcazar wanted to make all her dreams come true. The bottom line was this relationship with Carly and Alcazar was toxic because he and Sonny hated each other and tried to kill each other more than once. And during that time, Carly had multiple, if I recall correctly, mental health spirals and wound up institutionalized more than once. Later, when she got her head on straight, she called things off with Lorenzo. But I remain a huge fan of Ted King, who played the role, and I thought his chemistry with Laura Wright was off the charts. I would love to see Lorenzo and Carly try again, even though it was a mess and it was a toxic relationship. Next on the list, number 4 is Franco Baldwin, last played by Roger Howarth, who is now dead and gone, but was totally reformed before General Hospital killed him off. So, back in the day when James Franco originated the role, he was an artist who got off on killing people and making a spectacle of it. He was a true sociopathic serial killer. But Jason Morgan Steve Burton killed Franco, first played by James Franco, and that was that until GH hired Roger Howarth to play Todd Manning. Roger Howarth, his character from One Life to Live. But there was a lawsuit with Prospect Park, and Roger could not play the character. GH had to do something, so they resurrected Frank, and eventually they began to redeem him with Roger Howarth playing the part. When Franco got involved with Carly, she thought Franco was Jason's twin. And to be fair, Franco tried to be better for Carly. In fact, Franco saved Michael Corinthos, then Chad Duell, from drowning, which impressed her. And it kind of made up for the fact that Franco had Michael raped in prison. But then later they did a retcon and said it wasn't true, and that he didn't really arrange for it, and he was actually trying to protect Michael. He definitely did. Franco even stabbed his crazy mom, Heather Weber Allie Mills, to save Carly from her. But then Carly cheated on Franco with Sonny, and Franco gave Carly his ugly necklace he was using to spy on her and make recordings, and he got her and Sonny on tape confessing their roles in AJ Quartermain's Sean Kanan murder. So, it got really toxic when Franco waited until their wedding day, where Michael was a guest. And Franco played the recording of Sonny confessing he shot Jay, which of course horrified Michael, because that's his bio dad. And it blew up their wedding just as Franco intended. It was such a messy split for Carly and Franco, and honestly one of her worst pairings, but it was good TV. The next guy is a relationship that was very early on when Carly first came to Port Charles back when Sarah Joy Brown played the role. If you recall, Carly was adopted. Her mom, Bobby Spencer Jacqueline Zeman, was a teen prostitute when she got pregnant with Carly. So, Bobby gave up Carly for adoption, hoping she'd have a better life, and Bobby later turned her life around, went to nursing school, made something of herself, and married Tony Jones Brad Mall. And that is the guy who is the 3rd worst relationship on my list. Carly came to Port Chuck intent on ruining Bobby's life. She felt like her mom abandoned her, and Carly wanted to make her pay. So part of the plan was to rip Bobby's marriage apart. So Carly seduced Tony and made sure Bobby walked in on them. And of course, it was on their anniversary. Even worse, Carly got pregnant by AJ. But then she claimed Tony was the dad. That turned out to be a lie. But at that point, her destroying his marriage and then taking away his hope that he was going to have this kid, Carly had just pushed Tony off the deep end with all the mind games. So, he kidnapped Michael, and Carly wound up shooting her stepdad turned lover, Tony. This was honestly probably Carly's worst relationship in terms of toxicity. But I didn't rank it as number one because Tony, in the end, was not a horrible guy. He was a decent guy who really didn't deserve what Carly did to him. He was collateral damage when Carly was ripping Bobby's life apart. And Tony's reaction and his over-the-top behavior after that was actually understandable. It was such a soapy story. So AJ and Carly hooked up drunkenly one night, and she turned up pregnant. AJ quit drinking and tried to fly right. But then, Carly basically pushed him off the wagon by drugging AJ and then dumping him in an alley so he'd wake up soaked in booze, which she poured on him to make him seem like a drunk again. Carly wanted AJ to leave town for rehab. She wanted him to stay away from her unborn baby, who would turn out to be Michael, and he didn't fall for it. AJ demanded a DNA test, and then Carly begged Jason to step in and lie and say the kid was his. A few years later, Robin Scorpio Kimberly MC Cullah told AJ the truth. He was Michael's dad. AJ smoothed things over with Carly. They got married. But then she cheated with Sonny and got pregnant. And while arguing with AJ, she fell down some stairs and miscarried, which sent Sonny off the deep end. He tortured AJ until he signed over custody rights of Michael. Getting involved with Carly put AJ on a path to wind up shot dead by Sonny. However, Ava Jerome Morrow West had a role in that too, and AJ wasn't like an A-plus stellar guy to start with. He was just troubled. It was a whole big messed up deal. And the only good thing to come of AJ's relationship with Carly was Michael. The number one worst relationship on our list for Carly is her and Congressman Cutthroat Drew Kane Cameron Matheson, simply because he is so darn awful. Now, I will give Carly credit in that he wasn't horrible when she got involved with him. But because of how things went with their relationship, he turned so awful. I do think that the time he spent in prison where he went to protect Carly Laura Wright is largely to blame for his attitude shift. I won't say that Drew being with Carly ruined him, but I will say if Drew hadn't been with Carly and hadn't gone to prison, things in his life may be very different right now, because he used to be a decent guy who knew right from wrong until he got with Carly. And then, while he told her not to do it, she did it anyway. Dragged him into her insider trading thing that she never should have been doing. At the same time, Drew was making his own choices. He's the one who decided to be with Carly. And Drew was the one who decided to go to prison for Carly. And while he was in there and nearly died, some kind of flip seemed to be switched. Once he was out, it was clear Drew had lost it. He just spiraled immediately. This happened towards the end of their relationship when everything got so awful. He fired Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watrous, and then forced Carly to run Crimson even though she didn't want to. And then basically turned around and fired her and rehired Nina. Then he preemptively dumped Carly when Jason turned up alive, assuming the worst when it didn't necessarily have to go that way. And then of course started banging Nina in secret. Just so messy. So maybe Drew was always going to end up awful and things with Carly just accelerated it. But just because of how awful of a guy he is with no end in sight, no redemption that seems possible, I have rated Drew as the worst relationship ever in Carly's life. Do you agree? Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.